Hi there, welcome to the channel. My name is Sue. If you've not been here before, I've been eating a mostly carnivore diet since May 2022, so that's coming up about 2 years and 9 months. It will be 3 years obviously in May. Now I decided I was going to do BBBE, BBBE Challenge for 30 days for the World Carnivore Month, and so I started on the 1st of January, and today is day 18 and I am quitting as of today, and I'm going to talk about why and the results that I've had. So the good news is that I am down 2.5 kilos, so that's 5.5 pounds in 18 days. So I'm really happy with that because my goal this year is to get this weight off because it's been really slow, and I've spoken about that in my last video if you want to go and check that out. I'm basically focusing on staying in ketosis and working out my glucose to ketone ratios and adjusting based on that. And so that's basically what I'm doing, and how I'm finally getting my weight to move again, because I'd actually gained 4 kilos over the last couple of months. So I'm down 2.5 of those 4 kilos, and so I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing that I have just done today with regards to the weight loss side of things is I've just done another scan with the Me 360 app. So if you've not heard me talk about that before, I did a video a little while ago that you can go and watch where I have used the Me 360 app. What it does is it scans your body, so it gets you to stand front on and then side on. It tells you what to do, and it scans your body and then works out your body fat percentage, all your measurements and all that sort of thing, and it gives you a visual image of your body, and so then you can compare in the future, you know, when you scan. So I did my first scan with this in February of 2024, and then I have I did a scan. I hadn't used it for 10 months. I did a scan last month, and then I've just done a scan now. So I'll pop up the comparison picture here of me from February 2024 until now, so 11 months ago. And as you can see, I was blown away. I spoke about it in the video. I was amazed at the difference in the shape of my body, how straight I am, how upright I am. My head and my neck and my shoulders are just like, it looks like I've gone from a very old lady's body to a younger body, which is obviously what's happening. And I was just blown away when I saw it, and it really made me happy because my weight hasn't been moving. I was just getting really frustrated, and when I saw this I was like, wow, okay, so things are definitely changing. Kind of knew that they were, but didn't realize how much. And so I figured that, okay, so now I'll do a scan about once a month and see what's changing. So I've did my last scan in just over a month ago, and then I've done one today, and this is the difference in my measurements, and I'm just going to read them out to you. So the last scan was in December 14th, and today is January the 18th. So my body fat is down 0.6%. My chest measurement has gone down by 1.4 centimeters. My stomach is down by 0.2 centimeters. My waist is down by 0.3. My hips are down by 1.7 centimeters. My left bicep by 0.9. My right bicep 0.8. My left forearm is down 0.7. My right forearm is down 0.7. My left thigh is down 0.2. My right thigh is down 0.1. My left calf is down 0.2. My right calf is down 0.2. My total body surface area has gone from 2 cubic meters or square meters to 1.9 square meters, and my lean body mass is up by 0.5 kilo. So I'm really happy with that in a month, with the little bit of weight loss that I've had in the last 3 weeks, and so last almost 3 weeks. And between February 24, when I did my first scan, and now, my biggest change in my measurements has been my waist, which is down 10 centimeters according to the app. So this app, I think that the accuracy of it apparently varies depending on your phone. For me, it seems to be pretty accurate. When I compare it to my scales, I've got a set of Tanita scales that measure my body fat and, my bone density and all that sort of stuff. And knowing what my measurements are roughly, The app seems to be pretty accurate. So I will link to the app below if you want to check that out, and I will link to my Tanita scales that I use as well if you want to check those out, because they measure your visceral fat and a whole bunch of things. So to be able to compare those is really handy for me, I find. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way that my body's changing, and so I'm looking forward to the months ahead to see how much it changes as well. And it's great being able to have that visual to see what's actually happening. So let's talk about the whole BBBE challenge thing. So the reason that I wanted to do the BBE challenge was basically just to see how my body would respond. So if you've not been to my channel, seen any of my videos, my history is that I had IBS diarrhea for decades. When I started on the carnivore diet, it actually got worse, and that was due to a few different factors, I think. So I mean, it's really common for people to get diarrhea when they first start on carnivore, but for me it carried on and on and on and on and on, and it's really only started to resolve probably over the last 12 months, and has finally got to the point where it's good most of the time until I make changes or adjust something, and then if my body gets upset, the diarrhea comes back, and that's just the way things seem to work for me. And I think a lot of it is down to histamine and oxalate, and has been the whole time. So let's talk about what's been going on since I started on this BBBE challenge. Basically the same thing has happened this time as has happened in the past when I've tried something like this. So I've tried to do the lion diet a couple of times, and have ended up giving up for the same reasons as I'm quitting this time. Basically what happens is I will so in my normal diet that I've been eating for the last almost 3 years, most of the time I'm eating a mostly carnivore diet, but I have most of the time I keep in just some fermented veg, a few herbs and spices. Sometimes I'll do some berries, and so there's always kind of this little bit of fiber in there, and I think that that's what makes the difference for me. And what seems to happen is when I take that out of my diet, first 2 or 3 days things are fine, and then they start gradually going downhill. So after 2 or 3 days I start getting diarrhea. My stools get really loose, and I'm running backwards and forwards to the toilet. Now when it happened this time, I also, when I started the BBE challenge, I decided I was going to start taking berberine again, because I was wanting to see if it would help to keep my glucose lower, because I'm also focusing on my ketones and things to try and lose some weight. So I started on the berberine, and after the first few days or a week, I spoke about it in my last update video, I decided to stop the berberine because I wasn't sure whether that was what was upsetting my gut. So I stopped that, but the diarrhea didn't go away. And so what I have found over the 18 days is that the way I feel, it just kind of gradually gets worse and worse and worse. And so the symptoms that I've had have been, my skin flushing. You can see at the moment my face is quite red. I'm not sure whether that's flushing or whether it's because I've been out in the sun. I was doing some gardening earlier, and we've got a really nice day outside, so it could just be a little bit of sunburn. And yes, I do get a little bit sunburnt still these days, but it doesn't last. The next day it's all gone, and I don't tend to burn like I used to. But anyway, that's kind of getting off the track. So I've been having flushing, I have had the diarrhea, and then gradually over time what I find is I start getting kind of hay fevery symptoms. My eyes are itchy and just feel yuck. Nose starts running, gets really stuffed up and blocked. I start to get depressed. My mood really goes downhill. I was getting headaches, nausea, and struggling with the heat. That's another thing. Just the heat was really bugging me yesterday and the day before, whereas today's hot. Been outside gardening and I'm fine. So quite a big difference between today and yesterday, and that's because I took vitamin C last night, I took vitamin C this morning, and I've also had a tiny bit of kimchi with breakfast this morning. So I've also been drinking nettle tea the last couple of days. So just to try and lower those histamine levels a little bit. The other thing that I noticed last night was that I was getting really tight in the chest again, having trouble breathing, and I haven't had that for ages. The last time that I experienced that was probably at least 10 months or so ago, and so that kind of kicked in last night, and I'm sitting here, I had a tissue with some peppermint oil on it, inhaling that to make it feel like I could actually breathe properly. I've also had itchy skin off and on the last couple of days, and so yeah, when the itchy skin and the itchy eyes and that kind of kicked in, I thought, I think this is histamine. And then, yeah, just over the last 2 or 3 days, it just kind of got worse and worse. I think the worst thing, the thing that really made me decide that I was going to stop was the depression yesterday. I just felt teary, felt upset, just miserable. And then I start feeling, then I get all, feeling sorry for myself, because, I was listening to Dr. Georgia Ede yesterday in an interview, and she was talking about, using the carnivore diet for people with depression and mental illness and that sort of thing. And I listen to these people, and they talk about putting people onto sometimes the strictest version of carnivore, which is just beef and salt and water, and I can't do that, and it frustrates me. And I was sitting there yesterday, I'm thinking, why? How come it doesn't work for me? And I think that the reason that it doesn't work for me at this stage still is in a big part due to the oxalate dumping that happens. So the other thing that's happened over the last week or so is that I started oxalate dumping, and I think that's a big part of the reason why the diarrhea comes back, possibly. I was unsure whether it was oxalate dumping initially, but then I got vulvodynia. And so when the vulvodynia comes back, I know that I'm oxalate dumping, and I haven't had vulvodynia now for probably about 10 months or so as well. And so this is the thing, is the oxalate, because it causes, when you're oxalate dumping, it's causing inflammation obviously in my body, and that makes my histamine issues worse. I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on. And so if I keep a little bit of the plants in, then that helps to reduce the oxalate dumping, which then helps with the histamine issues. So I think that that's what's happening with me, and it makes sense to me, and it's the only thing that I can think of that the only reason that this just happened. So I just think that my body isn't ready to be able to do this, and so I might leave it for another year and try it again. I might try again next World Carnivore Month and see if I can do it for the 30 days then, and see if see what happens, because it can take years to get rid of oxalate out of your body. I've obviously had massive amounts of oxalate in my body. I still have got plenty, probably, obviously, and so it's just going to takes time, but my body is healing and it's improving, all of these things, and so I just have to be patient and just carry on with what I'm doing. And I said to my friend the other day, I told her that I had been feeling a bit crap in what I was doing, and I said, for some reason I just I get myself to a place where I'm really good and things are going really well, and then I've just got to poke that bear. I just every time I'm just like, I might just change this and see how that goes, and then it all literally turns to shit, and then I feel sorry for myself, and then I end up going back to what I've been doing that was working. And that's just me, because I experiment all the time, and I have a very curious mind, and I just want to keep trying things. And so that's my personality. One of my clients the other day said that she reckons I've got ADHD. She could be right, I don't know, but I just prefer to think of it as my quirky personality. So part of, I think the plants, keeping a little bit of plant and fiber in my diet, I think the other reasons that helps, I think, as far as I'm aware, fiber helps with DAO production, and I know vitamin C does. So I ended up listening to Elliot Overton last night in a interview. I was kind of looking at different people talking about histamine again, because it's reared its head. And Elliot was asked, what he does with patients who have histamine issues. And he said, there's several things that he kind of looks at. One of them is vitamin C deficiency. And so I wondered whether maybe because when I try to do this sort of thing, it's like even doing this BBBE challenge, I've reduced my variety of food right down, and so therefore reduced the nutrients down, because I've been basically living on beef, butter, and pork belly. I've only eaten eggs a couple of times. Where in the past I've eaten lots of eggs, like eggs were kind of a staple every day, but I'm just not sure whether they might still be causing me some inflammation. So I kind of thought, well, I'll reduce those right down while I'm doing this, and I don't know whether that's the right thing for me to do. So I think that the kimchi that I make probably, I think it has a little bit of vitamin C in it. The other thing that it does have, according to Mary Ruddock, is a bacteria that helps to reduce histamine, and I didn't realise that. People always talk about fermented vegetables, being a problem with histamine issues, but according to Mary Ruddock, they can actually be helpful because some of the bacteria in some of them help to lower histamine. So I've been making and eating kimchi, and that was specifically what she spoke about in a video I watched yesterday. So I'm wondering if that's part of the reason why, and less vitamin C, maybe, because I haven't been having the fermented veg. As I said, I sometimes eat berries, but not all the time. So I don't think it would be the lack of that. But yeah, I don't know. So vitamin C, that was after I listened to that last night. I was, okay, vitamin C. So I went and took some, and it did make me feel better. I've taken some more this morning. The other thing that he talks about is, our inability to clear excess histamine. So the vitamin C plays a role there. And then gut issues he talks about, which of course is me. I don't know. My gut, you would think, would be healed by now, but it obviously still has some kind of a weakness there, because every time I do something, it changes it. Like it causes problems. So I don't know whether it's completely healed or not. So gut issues, inflammation in the gut will cause histamine issues. And the other thing is the copper zinc ratio. So if you're living just on muscle meat and not eating any liver and not getting enough copper, then that can cause problems as well for histamine. So we haven't had any liver for ages, and so that could be part of it as well. I don't really know. So he's spoken as well about methylation issues, and so that's me, because I have a double MTHFR gene variation, so I have issues with converting folate and that sort of thing. And so that's one of the reasons that I was eating so many eggs, because the choline can help there. And then I have stopped eating all the eggs, so that might be part of my problem as well. And then of course, the food allergies, which was one of my reasons for stopping eating the eggs, because I'm not sure whether eggs agree or not. And so I wanted to do without them for a little while and then challenge them and see how I go. So what now? So basically back to eating the way that I've been eating. So just a bigger variety of meats, poultry, seafood. Trying to get more seafood into my diet. I may do some sardine challenges in the not too distant future. Try and really kick this ketosis into gear and get this weight loss happening faster. I'm back doing a bit more exercise. My knee is healing quite well. I'm still working on this arm. I've been getting really desperate and dry needling my arm, which is helping, but it's still not right. And yeah, just focusing on my weight and focusing on ketosis. So I will be doing regular updates still and letting you know how I'm going with my weight loss. If you've got any comments or questions, pop those below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, and that way you can follow along with what I'm doing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.